The breaking news, a historic and devastating hurricane is battering Jamaica as we speak. Hurricane Melissa made landfall a short time ago as a powerful Category 5 storm. It had maximum sustained winds of 185 miles per hour. It is one of the strongest hurricanes on record in the Atlantic Ocean. It is also the most powerful storm to hit Jamaica in that island's recorded history. The National Hurricane Center is warning of life-threatening and catastrophic impacts, including flash flooding and landslides. Jamaican officials are urging people on the island to stay sheltered until the hurricane passes. One government minister said, quote, "This is not the time to be brave." We begin our coverage with NBC News correspondent George Solis. He's in Kingston, Jamaica, and NBC News meteorologist Bill Karins here with us in the studio. George, I'll start with you. I know where you are in Kingston, luckily, is not feeling the brunt of things right now. It's more to your west. Describe what's going on the island.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we're not dealing with the brunt of the storm, but we are seeing those tropical force storm winds. Actually, right now, you might be able to see a bit of a strong gust, some rain that is pummeling the area here, and those winds starting to pick up. The story here, much like it is going to be for a lot of the island, is also this rainfall. Before Melissa made landfall, before the storm even approached, Jamaica was dealing with a lot of rain. So all of this compounded is obviously just going to make a bad situation even worse, really adding to those rain totals and really just putting those roads at risk. We're talking about those landslides and the flooding here that is already a problem all on its own. Now, the wind itself here in Kingston, we've seen it take down a number of palm trees. Some of those older structures that really haven't been up to new standards are starting to obviously see some wear and tear. You're seeing some siding rip off of buildings. That's why officials are saying even once this storm passes, don't take any chances. Don't go out until their assessments are made. A lot of people, of course, hunkering down for this storm. Some people in those low-lying communities may have chosen not to evacuate, but all the emergency shelters here were open. A lot of people taking those necessary precautions, and we should note that this storm, even before it touched down, has been fatal. 3 lives were lost while people were preparing for the storm, and about 13 or so were injured. That's according to Jamaican officials here, many hoping that that number, of course, does not increase as Melissa passes through the island, guys.
All right, thank you so much, George. Let me go to Bill. Bill, Melissa just kept getting stronger before it made landfall. I don't know how unusual that is, and what is the track as we speak?
It all depends on the water temperatures and the upper-level winds. The upper-level winds were very favorable, so it all depended on the water. And that's why Melissa got so strong. The warmest, deepest water on the planet is right over where Melissa traveled. And that's the reason it became this immense beast of a storm and kept intensifying until it hit Jamaica. It'd probably still be intensifying if it wasn't for the land mass of Jamaica. But watch the eye right here. So it's clear as could be, makes landfall, and then whoop. In the last hour, it just got cloud covered. So that's because it's going over the train now. There's mountainous terrain on Jamaica. We expect it to weaken. It'll try to reorganize and get its act back together, the eye at least, when it heads out over the open water once again north of Jamaica here in about 2 hours. So the latest advisory just came in from the Hurricane Center at the top of the hour. We're at 160. So that's like the bottom rung of a Category 5. There's still an immense amount of damage being done just because clouds are not covering the eye. There's still so much momentum around this thing from the strength it was at landfall that there's extreme wind damage taking place. And it's only 15 miles south now of Montego Bay. So this area is one of the spots that we're going to be watching for a lot of damage to the high-rise buildings, windows blown out, poorly constructed buildings will be falling down, roofs blowing off. So this is really going to test all that infrastructure on these resorts from Montego Bay all the way over to Falmouth, because it looks like it's right over the top of Cambridge right now, and then it's going to be traveling up here towards Falmouth. So here's how it's going to play out the rest of today. It goes off the coast, likely as a Category 5, maybe a Category 4, and then it will head up tonight towards Cuba. Landfall is expected as we go after midnight, probably around 2 or 3 a.m. here, likely as a Category 4, so a serious storm, but thankfully this is a pretty unpopulated area. We don't have to worry about that. And then we still have to get the storm through the Bahamas as we go throughout tomorrow evening, even as a Category 3. So we're not done yet just because Jamaica almost is.
Yeah, and George, let me go back to you. You mentioned shelters. Are there safe areas or safer areas on Jamaica, in terms of where people can go if they're trying to flee winds or flooding?
Yes, so the government opened up a number of shelters, more than 100 of them across the island for people to evacuate. Their concern was that not a lot of people were in them as Melissa started to approach, but many are assuming that a lot of people just heeded the warnings and boarded up their homes, took the necessary precautions. We did stop by one of these low-lying communities where people don't evacuate, and at the time, I can tell you that only one person was on the bus because, again, these people generally in these communities have said, we have seen a number of these storms in the past and nothing generally happens, but officials were saying you really shouldn't take that gamble with Melissa given its strength, given how rapidly it intensified, and again, given the fact that this storm is obviously going to impact this entire island one way or another, Kate.
Yeah, all right. George Solis, meteorologist Bill Karins, thanks so much to both of you. Let's bring in Michelle Robinson now. She is currently in Kingston, Jamaica, same spot where you just saw George, and she has homes and offices in Jamaica and in New York. Michelle, thanks for joining us. I know it's a difficult day. Can you describe what you're seeing right now? Is it similar to the reporter we just had where it's not awful, but it's not great?
Thank you for having me. Yes, what he's saying is exactly what I'm seeing right now in Kingston. It's not awful. It's not as bad as it can be. Definitely not as bad as what's going on in Westmoreland and in St. Elizabeth, but it is definitely coming down now. It wasn't like this about an hour ago, but the rain and the winds have certainly picked up. And it's not safe to be outside.
Yeah. Michelle, what are your emotions right now? Are you still feeling nervous? How are you feeling?
I'm not feeling as nervous as I did before. I don't know if that means, I don't know what that means. I guess because it hasn't been raining as heavy as we thought it was going to be in Kingston. And now that it's getting a little heavier, I'm still just not nervous about it. It's not my first time riding out a storm. This is my first Category 5 storm.
Yeah,
but
it's everybody's first Category 5 in Jamaica.
The storm is on the west side, so we're just getting more of tropical force winds and rain, and we're just doing the best that we can.
Yeah. Michelle, do you have a lot of family there, too? I know you split your time between New York and sometimes you're in Jamaica. You're a lawyer, right?
Yes, I'm an attorney in New York and in Jamaica. I do have a lot of family in Jamaica. But my mom is in New York. I'm happy she's in New York.
Yeah, I'll bet. She's probably worried about you. Did you try to get out? Did you try to leave before the storm?
Well, by the time I realized how bad this storm was going to be, I would have a lot of things that I would have to do before I left. I'm not a regular visitor where I could just buy a ticket and exit. I would have to, make sure that my mom's home is boarded up, my office is taken care of, my home is taken care of. So there's a lot of stuff that needed to be done. So by the time that would be finished, the airports, of course, they closed. Norman Manley closed on Saturday, and Montego Bay Airport, Sangsters closed on Sunday. So there really wasn't much time for me to make a pivot.
For the folks watching in the U.S., what do you think will be the biggest needs in the coming days for Jamaica?
I think for Jamaica, the biggest needs, of course, is going to be, they're going to need food. They're going to need money. The cost of goods are going to increase. St. Elizabeth is the breadbasket of Jamaica. It is where majority of our farms are. So the cost of things are going to increase. It's the same thing that happened after Beryl. They're going to need toiletries, lotions, towels, blankets. They're just going to need a lot of basic things that you need day to day to survive until they could get back on their feet.
Yeah, well, Michelle Robinson, very, very good to have you with us, and I hope you stay safe. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, as we continue to track Melissa, we're starting to see videos of the storm pouring in on social media, not surprising. NBC's Marquise Francis has been sort of tracking that part of it for us and looking at the things we're seeing coming in online. Marquise, what have we got?
Yeah, within the last hour, we're beginning to kind of paint a picture of what the devastation from this hurricane is really looking like. There's a video I want to pull up where in Clarendon region of Jamaica that shows what was a road pretty much just turned into a mini river. Usually cars are going down there, but there's at least, as you can see, several inches of water there. And in another video in that same region, you see trees almost just bending. As Bill just mentioned just a few minutes ago, we're seeing winds from anywhere from 140 to 160 miles per hour. Rain, they're expecting anywhere from 30 to 40 inches as this Category 5 storm really just wreaks havoc on the region. A lot of people are in resorts, and even including an American couple who has been documenting what they're going through on TikTok. And I want to throw some of that sound of what they're experiencing right now in Jamaica.
So weather is definitely intensifying, getting windier. At times you can barely see anything. Power lines are not straight. They are definitely leaning.
And it comes in waves, huge gusts of wind, and then it'll chill. Apparently, this building that we're in is the most hurricane-proof in the resort, so that's definitely good. We're also, for everybody that missed it in the last videos, on the top level, so that helps a lot too with flooding.
Yeah, and this couple is at a Sandals resort in Montego Bay, and they've been documenting their experience over the last 24 hours. And of course, a lot of people want to say, why did you just get out? Well, they had a flight yesterday at 1:30. It was canceled at 12. In previous attempts, plane tickets cost $2,000. And so they were just kind of out of luck there.
Yeah, the airports kind of a lot of them shut down.
Of course.
Marquise Francis, thank you so much.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.